Brilliant Education Center, founded 14 years ago, has become a beacon of academic excellence, nurturing young minds and shaping futures. Our alumni network stands as a testament to its commitment to educational empowerment and the cultivation of intellectual prowess. Our alumni are currently placed in some of the topmost corporate companies. So, if you are passionate about software engineering, today join us with one of the inspiring journey of our alumnus, Rhythm Patel, who is now a software engineer at Bloomberg in London. Discover how Rhythm turned his passion into a thriving career and gain insights and advice from his experience in one of the world's leading financial technology firms. So, I will be asking few of the most frequently asked questions that the current students are asking about the scope of software engineering in future. So without wasting much time, let's jump into the questions and listen to what Rhythm has to say about it. So Rhythm, the first question is, of course, what inspired you to pursue a career in software engineering?
I think my biggest factor of pursuing software engineering was my passion for technology and problem solving. I used to love computers when I was a kid. And I was also curious about how the computer works, or I was curious about how the internet works. And I used to Google all these random and fascinating questions. And I used to learn how the world works with the networking and with the computers and with the internet, etc. So this curiosity led me choose computers as my career, and this is what we do in our day-to-day lives. There are these bunch of problems, a bunch of difficult software engineering problems, and we find solutions and we try to solve those problems in a really meaningful and an efficient manner.
That was a wonderful response, Rhythm. So the take from Rhythm's answer to the current generation or the current students is that if you strongly have a passion towards a particular field and you understand what is the requirement in the industry, you can also be successful in the same field. So, my second question to Rhythm is, Rhythm, how did your educational background prepare you for a career in software engineering?
So the basic aspect of computer science is nothing but math. And I chose science and computers in my 11th and 12th. I had a very strong understanding of math and logic when I was in school, and having a strong fundamental knowledge of like basic math and calculus, for example, helped me become stronger in my fundamentals in programming and logic. I also played around with Python, which is a very popular programming language. And working on projects and like practical examples of coding made me very strong and fluent in programming.
Okay, perfect. So basically anybody is looking for doing computer engineering should have physics, chemistry and maths as the basic requirement. And in addition to that, I think adding on more certifications will help you build your profile really well. Right, Rhythm. So the third question is, what advice would you give to the current students who are studying in Brilliant, considering a career in software engineering?
So if you're trying to become a software engineer like me, try to be very good at math and topics like calculus, statistics, etc. This is the foundation of computer science. And also try to be curious, try to ask questions and try to understand how the world works. Also be good in logic and problem solving. And if you get the time, try to pick up a programming language like Python and try to build a project or an application or a game. This will give you some practical knowledge of software engineering.
Great. So I think I'll move on to my next question. How has the field of software engineering evolved since you graduated? Because this might be one of the most commonly asked questions from the current students, because they need to know exactly what kind of shift the industry has seen in the recent years.
That's a very good question. When I graduated, the main goal of companies and the overall trend in the industry was traditional software engineering, where you create and build applications and products and you scale them to achieve a goal of millions of billions of users. Although this is still the case now and a major chunk of the industry, there has been an increasing trend on stuff like AI, machine learning, or large language models like GPTs, etc. And I think there'll be an exponential trend of these things. But not to worry, they're not going to take our jobs anytime soon, because we'll be the ones creating them.
Perfect. So, as in my last video, I think I have already mentioned about how the AI has created impact in the job market. And from Rhythm, it's very clear that AI is not going to steal our jobs. So at least you have a hope that still software engineering is one of the best fields that you can consider for your career. Okay, Rhythm. So I would like to go on with the next question. So can you please share some of the challenges that you faced transitioning from a student to a software engineer?
I'd say the biggest difference and a challenge between being a student and a full-time job in engineering is that when you're a student, you're alone. You give exams by yourself, for example. But in the industry and in a job, you are a part of a team and you try to brainstorm ideas together, you try to solve the problems together, and you try to take the whole team and your company to achieve a common goal, and you work towards it as a part of a team.
Perfect. So it means you are not relying only on your academic scores or the subject knowledge that you have. At the same time, you need to develop the leadership qualities, and you should have the skills in building up a rapport with the team and working on a project and brainstorm the ideas and coming up with a solution. So there are a lot of things that you have to be a master in so as to fit into this particular job market. So I'd like to move on with the next question. So what skills or knowledge do you believe are mostly essential for success in software engineering today?
I'd say the biggest skill is proficiency in problem solving and analytical thinking. You need to have the logical skills and the brain power to solve very difficult problems. Knowledge of a particular programming language is good, but it's not the biggest thing because you can learn a new programming language at any time. But creating and fostering a thought process to solve problems is the topmost skill. And a second biggest skill or a soft skill would be communication and teamwork. As I mentioned, you work together to achieve problems with a team. Communication and working alongside a different and diverse group of people is also a really crucial skill that is required in the modern day world.
That's a great piece of advice, Rhythm. I would say that is something the students have to master with, along with getting good scores in exam. Well, Rhythm, I'll move on to the next question. So, what do you think about the importance of doing an internship or a co-op experience during the education system in building a good profile in software engineering? Do you recommend that the students who are studying in 11th and 12th should go through some summer internship program so that it will enhance their profile in this particular field?
Internships are useful for having a fantastic start to your software engineering career. They give you a ton of practical skills and you get to work with people who are part of the company, and you sort of simulate yourself as to how you would work as a part of the team as a full-time person. You learn a great deal of things that you don't learn in university, and it also helps you expand your professional network.
That's really a great insight, I would say, because most of the children don't give much importance to all these additional certifications or internship programs that they can get during the year 11 and 12. Because majority of them think about this, only after the completion of 12th. But I would say this greatly enhances your profile and also the chances of getting into good universities for software engineering. So building up a strong network through LinkedIn, and also doing some summer internship programs and taking on some additional certifications through various online resources like Google, Coursera, that will definitely have a great impact on your profile. Right. So I think the next question that I have for you is, what are some of the most common misconceptions or misnotions that the students might have about pursuing a career in software engineering?
A common misconception is that software engineering is all about coding, but in reality, it's not. It's about working with the team and trying to brainstorm ideas and solve problems together. A lot of people think that being like an expert programmer will make you the best in your industry, but it's often the people who communicate well and work with the team well who are more successful.
Oh yes, at least when I was a kid, I also had this idea that a software engineer is someone who needs to know this hardcore coding, and who is someone who is sitting with multiple screens in front of him and writing so many algorithms and cracking codes, hacking into things. So these are some of the misconceptions. Yes, I do agree with you, and that's a great piece of advice that you have given to my students. Okay, Rudam, I'll go with the last question. How do you see the future of software engineering shaping up, especially for the students just entering into this particular field?
First and foremost, there's going to be a continued growth in the demand of skilled software engineers. The world is going to need software engineers to solve problems and build scalable solutions that billions of people are going to use. And I feel the AI industry or the GPT industry is gonna have an exponential growth as well in the future 10 to 15 years. So be on the lookout for that.
Right, Rhythm. That was really great, and I really thank you for all the efforts that you have taken and all the time that you have given for answering these most frequently asked questions for our kids. And hopefully this will be a great piece of information for those who are aspiring to become software engineers in future. So, dear children, as I said in my last video, one of the most prominent course that you can look for in the future is, of course, software engineers. And you can see how established are our alumni students like Rhythm. And there are so many students like Rhythm we have in our alumni platform, and we will be soon coming up with their insights and advices to the current generation. Thank you so much for watching this video. We will be coming up with another video which will be providing great pieces of information regarding upcoming careers. Thank you all.